Bags down, spikes on. Welcome to the track. Hi, my name is Colin Weitzman, and I'm going to be your host for this episode of Track World News. And today have a very special guest joining us. He is from FSU, former sprinter, as well as football player, three-time U.S. title champion, world indoor silver medalist, and a 2016 Olympian in the 100. Marvin Bracy. Marvin, thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate being here.
No problem. No problem. Well, one thing, but it's usually we save the track stuff for a little bit later, but I had to get this question in real quick. Took a look. Your PR of a time of 9:85 puts you at the 20th fastest time of ever. What's it like just knowing that you're one top 20 person on the face of this earth to ever run? That's got to be a really cool feeling, man.
No, it's definitely, man. It's super cool. But it's also bittersweet, because it's like, you top 20, top 15, whatever it is, you top 10 in America, whatever it is. But it's like, you always want to get more. And I feel like, I have so much more left on store, and there's so many more, fast times I can drop to put myself, in the, we talking about top 2, top 3, you want to be up in there, because I mean, to break the American record, you're running what, 969, 968. That automatically makes you the fastest American, like the second fastest person ever. But it's definitely cool, man. When you sit down and really think about, like, damn, I'm really one of the fastest people. Like, not right now, one of the fastest people to ever walk the face of this earth.
Yeah, it's like, because if you were to say, hey, if I could say you're a top 20 quarterback of all time, you're like, oh, I'm a Hall of Famer. That's easy.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
It can be easy to not put it into perspective for sure. But so want to first start with some things off the track. So we're going through a few of your tweets, and so I got questions about a few tweets that you've made. Want to get some explanations for you. So nothing too crazy, but first one, this was from October 1st, 2021. You say, not sure if y'all know, but I'm actually Michael Jackson. What's that mean, man? Your actual honestly, MJ? What's going on?
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like, honestly, sometimes like I just be listening to music and it just sounds cool. There's actually it's a Drake lyric, but so there was really no real meaning behind it. It's just, Drake is one of my favorite artists, and it just sounded like I just be going off. I swear to God.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, we see you like you're a shower singer singing, walking around the house.
Yeah, like, I'll be listening to a song and I'm like, damn, that's a really hard, let me tweet that real quick. You know what I'm saying? Some don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's some things where like I might tweet it to be like, it might have a little double meaning behind it, but sometimes like that, like I'm nowhere near MJ, man. That dude is a goat.
Yeah, I saw some of the comments are like, oh, what you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
Well, next one for you. You tweeted, this was September 27th, 2021. If you eat pizza with anything besides pepperoni, you can't be trusted. What's going on there?
Man, we keep having this this big old pineapples on pizza debate. Man, pineapples don't go on pizza, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, the crazy thing is pineapples are actually my favorite fruit, but I will never put a pineapple on a pizza. And it's just like you just like that. You eat candy corn, you eat coleslaw. Like, I just really can't. I can't trust you if that's what you choose. It's like, like it's just that's unhinged. Like, you gotta be different to really eat pineapples on pizza. It just don't go together.
Yeah, gotta take a step back. It's a little too much. Yeah, I feel you.
Some things shouldn't be mixed. Like, I know that people be, having weird cravings, but there's two things that just don't go together. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Somebody had to say it. I'm a big pineapple. I'm a big pepperoni on pizza guy myself. I'm not going to be going that far with pineapple. It's a little too much. But
too much.
Yeah. So now wanted to get started with where track kind of started off for you. Where was it that you started running and finding the sport of track and field?
Actually, I did like a little bit in middle school. Like, I've never done like a full season or anything like that. Like, I did like a little bit. And then I didn't run at all my 9th grade year. I actually didn't play any sports my 9th grade year. I went out for like spring football. I actually didn't make the team. Coming into my 10th grade year, I played JV football. Didn't get moved up to varsity after the season. And at the time, I had a couple friends they were freshmen. I hung out with like older people, but they were freshmen. They was like, "Hey man, we're gonna go out for track. Like, we won't be doing nothing. Like, you might as well, come out with us." I'm like, "All right, cool. Like, no problem. Like, I ain't got nothing better going on. I don't want to go home, Um, and I think that my first 100-meter race, I ran. And this is my sophomore year. My first race I ran. So it's 2010. I ran. I think I ran like 1082. So that started raising some eyebrows. Like, who the hell is this kid? He coming up running 10.8 like it ain't nothing. The very next race, I think it was like the next weekend, I ran 1076. And now people are like, all right, like, okay, he done, went from that to the district championship. I ran 1058. And now, everybody's like taking notice, like, all right, like this man is, he's on to something. The regional championship was the next weekend. I ran 1042. And then obviously at that point, like I had kind of solidified myself as like, up and coming sprinter. I went to the state championship the next weekend. I ran 1019 to win, but it was like a 2.7 headwind. And so I ended up going to I'm not blanking out. I ended up going to the USA Junior Championships in 2010. It was in Des Moines, and I ran like 1040 something. I got like 6th place, but I still got to go on the World U team, World Junior team up in Moncton, Canada. And I was an alternate on the relay. But like I said, at that point, like I had kind of like solidified myself. Like scholarship offers started coming in, and actually 2 days after my state championship, 4 days after my state championship, I played in our spring football game, and I think I scored like 3 touchdowns. Huh. And then football offers start rolling in. Then now I'm on varsity, and that's honestly kind of how my track and field journey got started.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that you're one of the few athletes that have gotten, that gets really well in 2 sports, with track and field and with football. I know it was always cool when seeing before the Olympics this year, they were showing some of the highlights of, Curly playing football or Grant Holloway or whatever it is. And you're right in those ranks too. You're I think like a 4-star recruit coming out of high school.
Yeah, I was a 4-star recruit. I played in the Under Armour All-American game. I mean, I did a lot, as far as high school sports go. Well, high school football, at least, with the 2 years that I did play my junior and senior year. So yeah, I definitely had some nice success on the football field.
Yeah, to say like nice success, you're putting it pretty humbly, but it's to be able to go and then be able to play and have the opportunity at FSU, one of the premier programs. I mean, you guys that's the time of like Jameis Winston and all that.
Yeah, that's my dude, man. We all came in the same year. We all played in the Under Armour game together. Me, him, Ronald Darby, PJ Williams, Chris Casher, Landon Collins, Mark Cooper. We all was in the same game.
Do you have any cool or funny, interesting stories with you and with some of those guys? Whether it be off the field, hanging out, or maybe something funny said in the huddle or anything like that.
So yeah, funny story. Okay, so this was like I think it was my 2nd game traveling. So at FSU, me and Jameis was redshirted, but Darby, PJ, all of them, they were like playing. They weren't redshirted. They were playing. So I had we traveled to Maryland to play the University of Maryland, and we had never seen. Some of us had never seen the White House. So we snuck out of the hotel after the team dinner, and we wanted to, go see the White House. So we walked down the street, whatever. We ended up going to see it. Now, Darby is from that area, so we get to the White House. We see it, we cool, whatever, and then we end up getting lost. Like bro, you from here? Like, how do you not know where to go? Like, you're literally from here, and so we lost like 2-3 hours. So we ended up running into the equipment managers. Like, they was all leaving, like coming from a bar. We see them, and they end up escorting us like back to the hotel. But like, we literally, like, for like 2-3 hours, we was literally like arguing, cussing, screaming at this man. Like, bro, how do you not know how to get us back to where we need to be.
What? Yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't have been a great conversation to have with coaches saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm lost here at the White House. Not supposed to be there anyway."
Right? Yeah, we're not supposed to be out. Hey, Colin, can you give me 1 second? I just need to grab a set of keys.
No problem. Go ahead.
1 second. Sorry. Sorry. Can you wait till I finish? I mean, it's gonna take too much longer. Sorry, Colin. I'm back with you, man.
All good. All good. Perfect. So let me just do that. Fine. Cool. So for like we had mentioned, you've had the opportunity to play both football and run track. Could you walk us through like what that freshman year was like for you? I know you had some there's some interesting the departure might not have been the best as you might have seen it to happen, but what was that like being able to compete at a top level for both programs?
Man, it was everything. Like, I always dreamed of going to college, and not a lot of people know that I actually grew up a Miami fan, like diehard Miami fan. Like, I just knew I was going to the University of Miami. And once I got of age to go to school, that's when Miami was going through all those sanctions and like everything. And then also I didn't imagine myself running track, younger. So it was always football, football, football. So had it been strictly football, I probably still would have ended up at University of Miami. But when track kind of came into play, it was like, shout out to Coach Amy Dean. She's a really good coach, but it was like the program just wasn't where, I would have liked for it to be. And I didn't feel like it was what I needed to get me to where I wanted to be. I wanted to be a national champion on the field and on the track. And so I ended up, choosing FSU. But actually, I went on my official visit to Texas A&M, and I was like this close to like recommitting. Like, I loved everything about it. But then they ended up firing like the entire coaching staff. And so I was like, yeah, this is just God's way of telling me, man, like, you need to be at FSU. Like, it's right down the street. I'm from Orlando. Tallahassee is 3 hours up the road. Like, it's just, so getting in there, man, and getting around people that I had watched play on Saturday, like, it was inspiring. I'm like, dude, I see these are normal people, like, like me, but they on Saturdays, they killing it, and Jimbo was a great coach. But being in there, I think my very first day of training camp, or the football training camp, very first day, very first route, we did one-on-ones. I ran a post route. Going to make the break, I feel my hamstring, go. And I'm like, dog, well, come on, man. Like, now it's not the time. And I was sidelined for like 2 weeks. Like, I couldn't practice for like 2 weeks. But I mean, I was still out there. Like, I'm still like fully dressed, like I'm gonna practice. But I'm just sitting out there. I do my rehab inside and come out and just stand out there. Rain, sleet, snow, hail. Like, I'm just standing out there with my helmet in my hand and my pads on. And after like 2 weeks, they was like, hey, Jimbo want to see you back out there. We need to, we're gonna bet. They gave me a brace for like a kind of like a sleeve, compression sleeve for my for my quad slash like hamstring, and it just kind of kept it compressed. So it kind of limited me from like fully opening up, which took some of the pain away, but like I couldn't run and be as explosive as I wanted to be. And which at the time, I was like, all right, well, I want to play that bad that I'm willing to be 70% out here and still practice. Like, I wanted to play that bad. And like the Thursday before the first game of the season, they was like, hey man, Jimbo's gonna redshirt you. I'm like, well, damn, if he was gonna do that, I could have just not practiced. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could have just got healthy, man, and and been fine. Like, but it is what it is. And so, like, I ain't gonna lie, I felt a little played because it's like, bro, like, come on now. Mm-hmm. So then but I still practiced throughout the season, did scout team reps and stuff like that. And then we got to track, after the bowl game, I was so eager to run track, man. I was so eager to make a name for myself, in college. Like, I came in this hot recruit, I wanted to, just kind of show people like, I've arrived. And so my hamstring was probably still 75, 80%. I was pain free, but it wasn't strength wise where it needed to be. And I got out there and I ran I think I ran indoor meet, but I was fine. Like I was healthy, you know. I ran like 661. Next meet was the Randall Tyson Invite. I broke the FSU record. I ran 654. And then I think I won the ACC championship. And then I won the ACC championship. And then I ended up false starting at the Nationals. False started,
Oh
man.
man.
Listen, it still hurts. It still hurts to this day, man. And so Ken Herndon was the coach. And now, you know, me and him are cool. Like we kind of like buried it. But like I'm going to Florida relays. I run 100. I pull my hamstring again in 100.
Same one?
I'm like, same one. I'm like, okay, all right, something got to give, man. Like, you know, this ain't it. So the next day was a Sunday. We back in Tallahassee. I ended up going to church. Now I'm not like a regular church goer, but it was just one of those times where like, man, I just need to be sitting inside of a church, just, you know, letting the spirit run through me. Like I was searching for answers. Like I'm just trying to, you know, clear my head. And there's only one person I can talk to, and that's God. And so I go to church, and he had orchestrated a mandatory treatment that started at 1, but I didn't get to the facility till like 1:20, 1:25. When I got there, like the building was locked up. There was nobody in there. And I had hit him up like, hey, coach, the building locked up, you know, like what's going on? I'm thinking people in here doing treatment. He was like, yeah, you're supposed to be there at 1. You know, we're not gonna wait for you and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, well, I was in church, like it ain't like I was, you know. And I really should have been on time, but I mean, I thought that being in church was a good enough excuse. I thought, could be wrong. So he was like, we're not gonna wait on you, whatever. And then he starts going off, and he was like, oh, you know, I'm the best coach in the country. I don't need you on this team. You know, you can go just play football or whatever it is. And I'm like, yo, bro, like it ain't that serious. Like you can be mad, but you ain't got, you know, I'm here on a football scholarship anyway. Like track don't pay for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, bro, watch how you talk to me, bro. Like we ain't finna do that. And I felt disrespected. And I made a call, you know, to a good friend of mine. And I was like, listen, I'm out of here. Football got me messed up, and track got me messed up. Like I ain't finna run for this man. He finna disrespect me like that. And you know, they ended up getting me a deal with Adidas, and I was out of there. I got family to take care of. I got all kinds of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna be subjected to y'all disrespect. I got options. You know, I had the opportunity of going pro out of high school, and I didn't take it because I wanted to go to college. Like I wanted to, you know, experience football and all that, but they just made the experience just not worth it. It's like, bro, if I knew this was what I was walking into, I would have never made it.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That's 1 year less money I made.
Yeah, I could have gone the pro route at 18 and figured
Bro,
this out.
that's what I'm saying. And start figuring stuff out, get healthy, you know what I'm saying? And no wear and tear and no, you know what I'm saying? Because I just don't feel like personally, like you got to treat people a certain way to get your point across. So it was like, bro, I just felt played like all around on both ends. It's like, I don't want to play for this football team, man. I don't want to run for the track team. Like I got an option to, you know, most people don't have that. Most people just got to sit there and take it.
Yeah. And so being in the position that you were in, I mean, looking back, it's interesting to think like many of those things came up with just that one post route. It's like if coach is like, hey, you know what, we're going to do a curl instead, or hey, we're going to do a 5-yard out. Maybe that hamstring keeps up and we don't have those issues. You ever like think about that at all?
Listen, all the time, man. And it's funny because like I didn't leave right away. I stayed for like another month. And Ronald Darby, he's one of 2 of my best friends. Every day he tried to convince me to stay. Every day, like he just talked to me, man, you got to stay. You know, you killing it on scout team. You know, you killing it against the ones. Like imagine what you're gonna do to the other teams. You know, stuff. He just coercing me. And I'm not gonna lie, there were some days where I'm like, man, I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna do all these great things. I'm gonna get drafted. I'm gonna do all that. And then it'd be some days I wake up and I'm like, man, I'm out of here. Like I ain't finna stay at school, man. I'm out. People gotta be messed up. And it's like, yeah, I think about all the time, man. Like that one post route. Like, and it's funny because I have it, the clip. And you can't see when I get hurt. Like I literally, like I run the route, I get wide open, I catch the ball, and I literally go straight for my hamstring. And it was, you know, the rest was history.
Jeez. I mean, yeah, that can't be great. I mean, I'm sure it's like you mentioned, something that you've been will be with you for a while. But I mean, I'm sure also you've had a lot of highs as well. I mean, Olympics in 2016. You're able to compete and go to Rio. What was that like, being able to compete at your first Olympics? I know in 2012, I think you were in high school. You just had some injuries, weren't able to compete. So
Hamstring.
yeah, if you could ever ask for a new Christmas gift, I'm guessing hamstring might be on the top of the list.
Man, look at here, man. Making it to Rio after after 2012. Actually, the West 2 News from Orlando came out to my practice in 2012 because I had announced that I was going to Olympic trials, and they came out. And when they came out to film the practice on my last block start, felt my hamstring go, and that's kind of how my 2012 journey ended. And but again, it's also like you said, like when I sit back and think about, like, okay, I go to Olympic trials. I'm not gonna lie. Looking back, I don't doubt my skills, but to make that team, it would have took 3 incredible rounds. So let's just say I go in there and I just run good times. I'm not gonna lie to you, I might have never made it to FSU. I'm at the Olympic trials as a high school kid and I'm doing my thing. Like, I might have, you probably threw enough money at me to say, I'm straight. I don't want to go to college. Like, I'm good. It's the same money I'm chasing anyway. But going in 2016, man, just going through what I went through the entire year, like just battling. I actually ended up finding out after the Olympics that I had a hernia. So I was taking, leading up to trials and everything, like I was taking cortisone. And I was due like one more shot before the games, and I didn't take it because I was like, man, I don't want to keep putting that in my body. Like, I feel good, like I feel all right. And it wasn't until the day I woke up for the semifinals of the 100, like I just felt like a little pain, but I was like, I mean, I'll be all right. Like, it's all in my head. Like, I'm straight. I ended up running 10:08 in the semis, and I didn't make it to the finals. And a lot of people, when things like, when you go through things like that, sometimes, man, you just be like joyful that it's over. Like, the worst is over. Like, yeah, I'm excited to come and compete, but I ain't fully myself. And I ain't, I've never publicly like said it. I've never tweeted about it. Like, nobody knows. People just think I went out there and choked it. Like, it is what it is. Like, people going, so they want to say anyway. But I was just joyful that the pain was over. So I didn't appear in a relay. I was the first leg on a relay, but I didn't run. Mike Rogers ended up running because I couldn't do it, and it sucked that it ended that way, but it was like, man, at least the pain is over.
Yeah, like that's hard to think about, because you're over there, you're still stuck in Rio, and you're like, did you actually watch that race live, or was it too much of a, I can't even?
No, I was in the stands. I was in the stands for the relay because by then, I mean, I had accepted my fate. Like, it's like, man, you can't, nothing you can do about it. Now you hurt, bro. Like, it's just, you just come back, regroup, and figure it out. But I still want to support the team. Tyson is one of my really good friends. Me and Gatlin are actually really cool. And Trayvon, Trayvon is a Florida kid. Like, we've been knowing each other for a while. So I just wanted to go in there, show my support for the guys and root them on. And then we get DQ.
Yeah. Not great. Yeah, hopefully Team USA can get the 4x1 stuff.
We're gonna figure it out.
We'll get it this year. We're
gonna figure it out.
Yeah. So after 2016, you had a decision that a lot of people probably are like, what is this cat doing? He goes from being an Olympian to being like, you know what? I'm taking my talents to South Beach, LeBron James style. I'm trying out for some football. I'm trading in my spikes for some pads. What was going on, like, in you, like what's the mental thing of like, hey, I want to try something different. Let's try this NFL thing.
It was a combination of 2 things. One being, I mean, I had walked away from football and I was really good at football, and I had so much more room for improvement to grow and get better. Like, who knows what would have happened if I would have stayed 3-4 years and get better, train and work out, stuff like that. Because I had never had the opportunity to actually, train for football. Like, it was always football, track, football, track, football, track. So I never was like one of those people that, in the offseason doing all the cone drills and all that. I was in track season. I ain't got time for football right now. And then as soon as track ends, late July, late July, you go straight into football, into high school, So, I had that itch I needed to scratch, one. And two, it was kind of based out of emotion, man, because 2016 was my last year on my Adidas contract. So I knew that I was hurt. I knew that there was something going on in here. I just didn't know yet. I knew there was something going on in my stomach that just was not right. And I knew that I was not going to have a full/successful 2017 season. So what I tried to do was beat the system. AKA, I told my agents, basically, man, I'm a 3-time indoor USA champion. Found out that ain't worth a damn. I ran 9 seconds, 4 or 5 times now. I made the 2016 Olympic team in the most premier event. All I was asking for was like to secure me some more money. That's all I asked. I ain't say go get me $1 million. I ain't say go get me a Brinks truck. I just said, just go get me a deal. Even if it's the same deal, just lock me in for another 3-4 years so that, when I missed the season, because I didn't tell them I was gonna miss the season. When I missed the season, I know that in the back of my mind, I still got some money.
Yeah.
I still got some type of financial security. So they ended up coming back to me and was like, hey, yeah, Adidas is gonna keep you on an option year. And I'm like,
could you explain what that is
no.
just for people that might not know?
Okay, so for people that don't know what an option year is, basically these companies give you let's say they give you a 4-year deal. And the option year is kind of like a prove it year. So like if they don't want to fully buy into you, they give you a year where they're like, okay, we're gonna give him 1 more year. He was just good enough to stay 1 more year. Mm-hmm. If he has a big year, we give him more money. If he doesn't, we cut him completely. Mm-hmm. So it was like, it wasn't a gamble that I wanted to take, because it's like, okay, you're gonna give me an option year. I'm not gonna be at the USA Championships. I'm not gonna make the 2017 team in London. I already knew that I needed surgery. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to announce that until I see what's going on with my contract, because if I come out and say, hey, I'm going to have surgery, they're going to be like, okay, well, no option year, no money, no nothing. So I felt like my agency just kind of played me. I was like, bro, like y'all supposed to have, y'all work, it's a partnership. Y'all got to, y'all get paid when I get paid. So help me. And so they didn't do that. And I was like, man, I just felt like, them, my coaches, the company that I was with, that's when I really learned it's a business. Didn't really have my back in totality. And I was just like, again, like I left FSU, I'll leave this. I don't need this. I go do something else. Like I got options, and so I hired a football agent and walked away.
Yeah. I was listening to one of your previous interviews, I think with Akeem Hayes, and you guys were talking about just like that, the level of politics that was involved in not only track and field, but team sports as well. And how once you join you're part of the Seahawks, and I believe you're part of the Colts for a while, and the AAF. I mean, what was that world like, where it's completely different really from track in certain regards? And I'm sure it's probably the same in other ones as well. Could you kind of take us into that football life?
Okay. So 2017, I hired an agent. I actually did the New Orleans, no, I did the Carolina rookie minicamp for Carolina Panthers rookie minicamp. And I felt something in my stomach, kind of like, it felt like somebody like unzipped something in my stomach. And I was like, all right, that's weird. So I ended up like backing out of the camp or whatever. The next weekend was New Orleans. And the rookie minicamp is like a 2-day, 3-day thing where they bring like 85 rookies in, or people that can be deemed rookies. Like if you never really made an active roster, but you've been around for 2-3 years, you're still a rookie. Yeah. They bring you in, they give you a crash course on a bunch of plays you got to learn. And they basically put you through like scrimmage type drills and stuff like that, just to kind of see like who got something that we can use. If they like you, they'll sign you, bring you into the training camp. So in New Orleans, I went through the physical, and the dude was like, yeah, but you got some core muscle weakness, like something that it's a little weak, but if you can, I went through like a couple of tests, and he was like, well, you're testing fine, but it's weak. Like you're gonna have to, take care of that. I'm like, all right, cool. He cleared me. I did like one play, and I told the coach, I was like, just saying, I want to go home. I told him to send me home, because I wasn't gonna be worth a damn. They sent me home. I go see my doctor, and he did like one test, and he was like, yeah, you got hernia. And I was like, what? He's like, nah, it's an easy fix. Like it's gonna be, you're gonna be out somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks. He sends me to a surgeon. Surgeon patched me back up. Like 4 weeks later, the Cowboys released Lucky Whitehead, and they called me in, fly me out to Oxnard, California, and I think I ran like 4:48 in the 40. And I ran some good routes, caught the ball well, but they wanted to see me running fast. I'm a track guy. I'm a speed guy. They're hearing about all the speed that I'm coming with. I'm 4 weeks out of a surgery, so I can't really, go. I ran like 4:48, and they was like, nah, we good. Send me back home. So now I know, what they're looking for on the football side. They just want me to be fast. They don't give a damn about nothing else. Just run fast. Mm-hmm. I ended up like a week later, the Indianapolis Colts called me. Hey, we're gonna fly you in for a workout, whatever. I know what y'all looking for. Y'all want me to run fast. I go in, I run like 4:32. They sign me. I get through, and like I said, it's that world is just different, man. Because like I didn't realize that they already know who's gonna be on the team before you come in. Like they know who they want. You know what I'm saying? That's why you get like 1 or 2 stories a year where you get a surprise guy that was, on and off some teams and stuff like that. Like they already know who the 5 receivers they want and who they want they already know that stuff. So you just really coming in, just you're a camp body. And so I ended up getting cut on like the cut day after the end of camp. Came back home, was like, okay, I know what training camp is like now. It's grueling. Next year, Seahawks call me in, go through the same process again. I get cut again. I'm like, dog, like what do I gotta do? Like I'm making plays, like I'm learning the system, I'm on time every day, watching film, making curfew, brown nosing some of the coaches. Like I'm doing everything I can. And there's just no more I can do. Like I'm running all these plays in practice that y'all want me to. We get to the games. I'm not even getting into preseason games. I knew I was gonna make the team. You're not getting a preseason games, but you're not gonna be on the team. And so they cut me. I come back home, and then at that same year, 2018, I had my son, who's now actually 3 years old, will be 4 in May. And I was like, at the time, I told my then fiance, I was like, listen, I got one more in me. I got one more attempt at playing football, and then, like I ain't not gonna keep wasting my time. I ended up getting a call by the AAF. They was like, yeah, we got a team in Orlando, so I'm at home. I already live in Orlando. I'm at home. And I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to like finally, assert myself and show people what I can do on the field. They give me the opportunity. We have a little training camp. I make the team. I'm like, okay, whew, there's that. First game of the season, February 9th of 2019, first game of the season. I go to catch a punt, drops through. I run up to get it, and somebody runs into this arm and breaks it. I'm like, nah, man. Like, okay, that's a sign from God. I ain't supposed to have my ass out here. Excuse my language. I ain't supposed to be out here. Then, I come back 5-6 weeks later, getting ready to play again. The league folds. Like, there's no more money. League is over with. I'm like, okay, that's my cue. And that's kind of how football ended.
Yeah, it seems like a couple times God was telling you, hey, you're not a football player right now. It was like, nah, I am. God's like, nah, I'm telling you, if I gotta close the whole league for you to understand, I'm gonna do it. So
yeah, you shut shop down. I was like, bro, like, why I can't catch a break? I'm breaking on, and I ain't breaking no arms in track. So right after the 2019 World Championships is when I started training again.
And so I would like to, I'm interested because if from an outside perspective, so if there was somebody that was like, I know nothing about track, just show me results and times, and someone looks at your results, could you kind of talk about the outside perspective? Because if I'm like, yeah, this is one of the best sprinters around in the US, and they see like, okay, they ran 994 in 2016. It's like, oh, then 2017, 1039. And then wait a minute, didn't run till 2020, like 1031, and then wait, now back to 985 in 2021. Like from an outside perspective, I'm sure you heard it a lot because you were the athlete. You're probably getting a lot of, well, I saw it on Twitter, outside noise, we can call it, disrespect from that non-traditional, career so far. Could you kind of touch on, what was going on?
So this is how it all played out. So 2016, I came back to fall training. I started training, but again, I know that something's not right. I can't say that until I figure out what's going on with my contract situation. So my agency comes back and tells me what's going on with the contract situation. The way Adidas pays, they pay like in April and they pay in October. So you get half your money in April, half your money in October. So I ain't finna tell them in January that I'm finna go play football, because then they may not pay me in April. So I literally held out until April. I came to practice every day, knowing that I'm on the way out of here. I would go to track practice and then go do football drills. Because I'm getting ready. I'm not gonna be here. Like, I know I'm out of here, bro. Y'all ain't gonna disrespect me. Like, nah. So I would go do football drills and stuff until April. So we get paid in April. And I ended up going to Grenada. That's what it was, the Grenada Invitational. And I ran like 10:39. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I didn't care. And actually I had left my coach. Like I was with Lance Brahman at first. I left and went to Gary Evans. And I'm telling you, like I was not taking it serious. I went out there, I ran like 10:39, but when my check cleared, I was like, yeah, all right, I'm out of here. See y'all on the flip side. So that was my first and only track meet of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I'm not gonna do this. And so then, like I said, walked away, didn't run in 18, didn't run in 19. So then after the World Championships in 2019, that's when I went back to Lance Barman. I was like, hey, we shook hands and made up. It was like, hey, I'm trying to come back to track, but this time I'm gonna take it serious. This time I'm gonna be all in. Like, ain't no more football, ain't no more BS. He was like, all right, cool. Welcome me back with open arms. And I started training with him. And then the chairman or whoever the hell he is over Adidas came to, after telling me I could train there, came to me and was like, hey, I don't want, he was like, we don't want Marvin in the group anymore. I'm like, all right, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? So I had to kind of do some training like on my own, but then I ended up going and running indoors in 2020. I ran 6:49. I ran 6:49 at the USA Championships behind Christian. He ran 6:37. But now 6:48 is my personal best. After 3 years away from this sport, I came back and ran 6:49. So obviously that raises a little eyebrow. I was like, hold on now. Like where you been at? So then, anybody that's actually cared to know my story or ask me what's going on, I will tell them, like, that's just how it played out. And then Nike ended up signing me. And, then I ended up moving up to Jacksonville to train with Rainer Ryder, with Trayvon and Andre DeGrasse and all of them. So I get here and I start training. Obviously, COVID hits, kills, the Olympics and like all of that. And then there's I ended up having a surgery on my stomach again. But this one is a little bit more severe. So I was out. I ran Dennis Mitchell's track meet on July 4th of 2020. I ran like 10:31. And I knew something wasn't right. But again, I don't publicly go out and make excuses. It's like whatever happened, happened. That's literally, again, if people go back and care to look, that's the only outdoor race I ran in 2020. I ran 10:31. That was on July 4th. My first surgery was July 7th. My second surgery was July 22nd. I actually ended up posting a picture like after the season. I posted what happened, but I took it down because I don't want a pity party. I don't do this for people's sympathy. Like I know that at the end of the day, the type of athlete I am, and what I possess. And so I was like, you know what? I took the post down, just got back to training, and came into this year and showed what I actually can do.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a very elite training group. I mean, just mentioning just a few names there, DeGrasse, Bromell, like you guys have some of the fastest people. Like there's almost the entire training group could be the podium at one point for sure. Is a good possibility. Could you and I know Bromell has talked about it because he's gone through some injuries as well. Have you guys had conversations on the mental aspect of things? I know in other interviews you said you don't want to have a pitter party, you don't want you don't want to have all that, but have you guys talked about you guys have both faced some serious adversity around similar times, like what's been going on?
Yeah, when it comes to outside attention and stuff like that, like I don't really be caring to explain this because it's like, if you don't take the time to come and talk to me, like I'm an open book. If you want to talk to me, if you want to talk to me and ask, if the media wants to come to me and ask, damn, Marvin, what's going on? I can tell you. But if you don't ask, I'm just not gonna say nothing. Like it is what it is. I don't need your sympathy. Like I know what happened. My training group knows what happened. Me and Trayvon actually basically went out the sport at the same time because you remember in 16 is when his Achilles happened.
Yeah.
So we went out at the same time and we've had like endless conversations about it, just trying to stay, locked in mentally. And he would actually always tell me, man, you should tell your story. Man, people don't know what I've been through. I lost 50 pounds. I didn't eat for like 2 months. I literally couldn't, my couch is right there. I couldn't get off the couch. I was stuck. I had staples from the top of my belly button to down to my pubic area. I had staples. I couldn't stand up straight. You know what I'm saying? But I don't go on, social media or anything like that talking about it because like I said, I'm not looking for sympathy. Like I would bring awareness to the situation. Like if there's anybody that ever been through what I've been through, like I sympathize because I won't wish that on my worst enemy. So we've always talked about it and shared stories or whatever. Because I mean I know him personally, so I've seen what happened like every step of the way. I also was training with him in 2020 when he came back and was lighting it up, and people trying to figure out how. The man ran like 10:54 and then came back and ran like 9:90 the next year. So yeah, we've definitely talked about it a lot, man. He's actually somebody that, I would have a personal, sit down heart to heart conversation with it about, that particular topic, because he was in my shoes a couple years ago and he had to battle his way back. So we've definitely rapped about it a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely cool to see that you guys have each other to kind of lean on in times of trouble and in times of success, of like, hey, you're doing well. And great enough, like both of you guys had pretty, I wouldn't say breakout years, but resurgence years, or I guess it is because you guys have been in track for a little while, but yeah, you have your 3 fastest times ever personally all came within 2021. And so running 985, like we said, top 20 time of all time, going really well. For many people, was one of the top favorites for, making the Olympic team here in 2021. And in the semis, unfortunately, about, halfway through, you had something with once again, it looked like a hamstring. I mean, could you kind of bring us through, the lead up to that race and, kind of the emotions or the feelings after?
Yeah, man, definitely. We went to Miramar like 2 weeks before trials. And that's when Trayvon ran 977, I ran 985. And right then and there, man, like I felt so powerful. I'm like, man, there it is. Like I've been this whole season, I've been there, because people don't know, I ran 10.6 this year. Last year, I ran 10.63 at the Oregon relays. Again, hurt my hamstring in a race. And I'm like, bro, why does this keep happening to me? Like, what am I not doing? Like I'm on top of treatments, I'm on top of everything. Like what's going on? And Miramar was everything I needed. Like I said, I ran 985. So I go into trials being, one of the favorites to make the team. Day one, I think I ran like a smooth 10:00, and I'm not gonna lie, running the race, like I was like that. When I finished, I was like that. That felt like 10:1. You know what I'm saying? Like 10:1 high, 10:1 mid. And I seen the clock and I seen 10:00, and I was like, it's on. Like that was 10:00. So come back for the semis, man. I warmed up, extra hard and felt good going into the race and everything. And you remember, they shot the gun and we ran like 10, 15 meters and they called us back. I got a good start. Then the second gun, get a good start again. And you can actually, if you listen to the TV copy, you can hear the announcer go, "Oh, and Bracy is a good start." And then right when he said that, I pull up. So sad to report that 4 days later, I was back running. So it wasn't a tear or anything. It literally was just like a mild spasm in like the lower quadrant of the hamstring, just like a flicker. And 4 days later, I was back running. And 2 days after that, they shipped me off to Stockholm to race. I ran the 100 in Stockholm. I think I got like 6th place though. And then I think 2 or 3 days after that, I ran in Budapest when Connie Simbine ran 984. I ran 10:02 in that race. And so I knew right then, I was like, okay, now I'm back healthy. Like, now we can kind of, figure it out. And I think I ran like one more race and came back home before like everything shut down for the Olympics, because obviously there's no races. So yeah, that's kind of what happened, man. It was really just a mild spasm. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you how. I was hydrated. I warmed up good. I was well prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, everything lined up, man. And literally just pushed out and mild flicker. I stopped running, and that was that.
Yeah, that's like one of the most difficult things about track is you get one shot at it. It's not like a football game where you can go out for a couple plays and come back. It's like, no, once,
man, you can miss 3 quarters, come back and have a game of a lifetime still. Like you know what I'm saying? You mess up one time, man, in one important race, like no matter what else you do the rest of the season. You know what I'm saying? I know that I had my family back at the crib watching, man, and like I ain't gonna lie, I shed a couple G tears, but not because I was hurt or anything, but because I felt like, there were some people that I let down. I had finally got back and I had finally figured it out. Like, okay, this is how you run fast times. I've seen, Trayvon run fast. I've seen running run fast. I've seen, other people run fast, DeGrasse. And I'm like, okay, so this is what it takes to finally get to, the 9.9s and the 9.8s and the 9s. This is what it takes. I'm here, like I've arrived. And for that to happen in that moment, I was like, oh shit, okay, we're back at square one. Mm-hmm. Now you gotta get healthy again,
It's like another trial or another thing that you're going through. But all of those are going to eventually make, once you're back at it again this year, it's just going to make it that much sweeter. And I mean, talking about that, something that has been a trend through the last few years, just like the unwarranted almost disrespect that you've kind of seen throughout track and field. I mean, this past year, you don't get invited to pre, don't come out to Brussels. And then this year we have the what's it called? Milrose Games, one of the biggest indoor races coming out. All the promos talking about 4 people, even though you're also a part of that race. People probably wouldn't even know that you're on it.
Don't know.
But what could you kind of just touch on? Like, I mean, what's it like seeing on social media? And I saw some other person was talking about from December 11th, some podcast guys saying the collapse. It was something you had put on your thing saying like, oh, I can't show up in the finals, or do you remember what that was? Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah, man. Man, listen, again, I ignore a lot of that stuff, man. It's funny to me. Like it's very, very funny. But I'll address it one by one. I'll start with Prefontaine. That stung, man, because I've never ran at Pre in my life. It's always something that I'll watch on TV. The atmosphere looks dope. Obviously I've been to that track, but I've never been to that particular event. And I was like, I'm Nike now. I'm a shoe in. Like I'm finna get in. Then I ran 985 this year. I'm like, okay, like they finna let me in. So we at the track. So the first day I wake up when the first announcement come out, the first 8 people, and I'm looking at the list like, all right, I'll give y'all like 4 or 5 people on this list that should be here. Like just they're shoe in. Like there's nothing I can do about that. I understand how the game goes. I've been around a while. And then I'm looking at a couple people and I'm like, all right, nah, y'all, all right, y'all, wow. But I'm like, okay, they got 9 lanes. Maybe they're gonna work something out. I wake up the next day, they announced, in the late edition, we added Cravon Gillespie. And I was like, all right, come on, man. Like, and everybody was trying to tell me, oh man, he went to Oregon. Man, I don't give a damn about none of that. I don't care where he went to school. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, come on, bro. And so it stung a little bit because I'm like, bro, like how, like there's Diamond League points. Like I ain't got no points. Mm-hmm. So then, I get past that and I end up going to Memphis and I ran 985 again. I'm like, all right. Well, at least y'all know, I'm what I'm working with.
Yeah.
Race goes on, whatever. And then Brussels come up and I was on a wait list at first. My agent was like, yeah, you're on a wait list, whatever. And then I'm looking when the race comes up, like I'm looking, it's like 3 people in there with like a PB of like 1022. And I'm like, come on, dog. Like, I get you letting somebody in, from that country. Like, I get that. But like, you got 3 people, there's a couple people that don't belong, but come on, some 1020, come on now. We get towards the nitty gritty. Like, come on, man. I don't know what I've done to these people. I don't know who I rubbed the wrong way. I don't know who I done pissed off, but it just didn't make no sense. So now I don't get into Brussels. I can't get into Zurich. So now, I'm thankful for I'll race anywhere where I'm welcome, and I can only race who they welcome. You know what I'm saying? So if the big names don't come to the Continental Tour or they don't come to, certain meets, I can't do nothing about that. I can just race to show up. So, and then that's just what I did. Just put down good performances and just let people know, man, like I'm worth something. So hopefully, this year they don't stiff me outdoors and then come into this season. Like I'm a 3-time USA indoor champion. I got a PB of 648. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a world indoor silver medal. I've won at Milrose before. I've ran 650 on that track before. Like I just personally feel like, man, in this sport, there's enough love to go around. Like they don't always gotta meet around certain people. You know what I'm saying? Like you can give everybody, a certain level of attention. I ain't asking y'all to make me the headline. I understand Christian Coleman is the world record holder. I got a lot of respect for that dude. I know I'm, personally, like I know what's going on. Like I get that. I train with Trey. I know I was actually in the 2016 final when he won it. I saw up close and personal what happened. I understand what these people are capable of. But it's enough notoriety for everybody to get some. Like you can literally say, man, we have a stack race. Treat like a diamond league. Because that's basically what you got. Then you got Ronnie, Christian, Trayvon, me, Noah. I mean, don't get me wrong, like it's no disrespect to Noah, but I mean, he ain't an indoor specialist. But I understand it sells tickets. I get that. So, Omar McLeod, he's also in the race.
I didn't know that.
60 yeah. And you won't, because they pick and choose who they want to, who they want to glorify when it's enough for everybody to get some attention.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but it is what it is. It's just what we deal with. I honestly, somebody tweeted me the other day and was like, we need Brace Yourself and more events like this, this year. I've been confirmed since beginning of December. I've been confirmed for that race, man. So I was like, I wasn't gonna say nothing until he tweeted me that, and I was like, I just sent the screenshot of, me already being confirmed. I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm already in there, so I ain't tripping. Like, I just got to go in there and do my thing, and then hopefully people take notice.
Yeah, that's stuff you don't realize as fans with what's going on the inside of things, of like, hey, it's about it's not just about how fast you ran, it's also about what coaching staff you have, maybe what agency you're in, what meets you're
it's like you said earlier, it's politics, man. All that stuff matters in this sport, man, because people do favors, and this agent might put this athlete in for they all that stuff go on, which is, at the end of the day, when you run fast, you make the job a lot easier for you. Because one thing about this sport, they can't deny how fast you are. At some point, you're gonna have to let me in. Mm-hmm. At some point, I'm gonna run fast enough for you to be like, all right, we can't deny him. I don't need all the attention. No, I don't. I'm cool with coming in and being an underdog. You ain't gotta pick me to win. You ain't gotta pick none of that. Just give me a lane. All I care about. And so unlike football, where honestly, man, there's some guys that I've seen in some of these places I've been in, some of these training camps and stuff, that you will never know their names. But they were better than some of the people that end up making the squad because, again, they pick who they like. Not who's always the best. So that's one thing I do appreciate about track. It's like, man, if you one of the best, you one of the best.
Yeah, there's at a certain point you can only you can't deny so long, for sure. And so, I mean, this year to kind of close things out for you, 2022, big year, got indoor and outdoor worlds that's coming up. And the sprint, like there's probably 10, 15 people that could win. Like legit, you can have like a legit bet for about 10 different people that can win. And the joke is there's not 10 lanes on a track. So there are going to be people that are going to get left out of finals and left off of teams that could have a legit chance at winning this world championship. I mean, what's it like, being in your prime right now at a point in time where by running sub 10 might not even be enough to get into a final. It's like, it's that close now. It's not,
man, you're gonna have some 9-8 guys watching from the stands. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be some sick dudes, and you do not want to be that dude. Do not be that dude that has a 9-8 run and missed it by 0.01 seconds, man. And all you can do is just go out there and put together your best when you need to be your best. For me, man, like I said, it was about this past season just taught me that, like, okay, like I am one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking about, like, the USA final didn't feature me. And you still had, third place was 989. I mean, not third place, fourth place was 989. Fifth place was 991. That was without me in the race. That's without Christian in the race. So, and whoever, we don't know who's next up, so it's like, man, just being one of those guys, being in that mix, man, just, it's a confidence booster for me, because coming into the sport, like, I turned pro in 2013. I was 19 years old. I came in, I watched Tyson go open up 986. I watched him run 974 at the American trials. You know what I'm saying? But that's back when you had the Bolt, the Gatlins, the Tyson. That's when you had 5-6 guys worldwide that were, it's like, okay, those 5. And then it's like, all right, everybody else is kind of like, all right, like, you might do something. But to be in a field where it's like, bro, you got 10 dudes who actually can win this race, man, it's kind of inspiring. Like, it makes you raise your game because you want to be that dude that takes over, where in an era where it's a bunch of younger guys, which I'm now one of the older guys, at 28, with a bunch of young guys that are all running, really well. And it's not really one particular guy that's just light years better than everybody else. Like, I understand, the boat era was magical to watch. The man did what he had to do when he had to do it. Can't hate on that. But just being in an era where you got so many guys that are all within like the same box. And so you don't really know who's going to win. Yeah, people got their favorites, I'll pick this guy, pick that guy, but you really don't know who's going to win that race on any given day. And that just makes it, because like nobody knew what, Lamont Jacobs was going to do. Nobody knew that was going to happen. Nobody could have predicted that. Mm-hmm. He did what he had to do. So now he's in the mix, so it just makes the sport even more entertaining.
Yeah, it's a crazy time for sprints. And I'm glad that I'm not having to race all this time. 'Cause I'd be nervous, like, oh man, like I got all this, money doing this stuff, and I gotta be the best. And there's everyone that's the best. So you gotta really be able to be good under pressure, with
No,
what's going on.
I'll share some with you that that somebody taught me. So it's like when it comes to competing and stuff like that, man. Tori Bowie, actually, I used to train with her. She was with Lance Browman, and she was the one who just kind of told me, man, like, 'cause I used to ask her, like, you running 10-8, 10-7, like, why does it look so effortless? Why are you so calm out there? And she was just kind of telling me, man, like, the race is the easy part. You've already put in the work, So when being perfectly honest, man, like the race is when I'm at my calmest, because it's like when you get out there, no matter who's around, like at the end of the day, it's nothing I can do to affect Christian Coleman, Trayvon Bromell, Ronnie Baker, Noah Lyles, Justin, whoever is out there. There's nothing I can do from this lane right here to affect anyone. If he ready to run fast, man, it's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is control. All I can do is control what I can control. And when you get to that level, when you can actually do that, it's like you put together, a string of good races, or you just put together, quality performances, because it's like you can just worry about yourself. You're either gonna win or you're gonna lose. It's gonna like something will happen. Like just run.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's become the easier part. Like it's like I ain't got to repeat 150s. I ain't got what I'm saying. I just gotta do this one time. Just do it one time.
Yeah, it's not like right after this race you got to get back on the line. Be like, all right, we're doing that 2 more
Yeah,
times.
you got 8 minutes and you got to run 49. Yeah,
Got the
just one
clock.
time, man. One time, it's one time at your best. Just do your best one time. And when you, like I said, when it all becomes muscle memory. I used to wonder how, looking at the Tysons and the Gatlins and the boat, how did this man get on the track every time and look the same and run close to the same time? How is he doing that? Why is he, there's no twitch in his step, there's no misfires, there's no nothing. Like he just get out there and it's just rhythm. And that's what it's about. It's about when you get in a rhythm, man. It's like when you get in a rhythm, it's nothing, it's just like think about up until the Olympics, the rhythm that Trayvon was in, I saw it every day in practice. It looked effortless. It looked like he wasn't even trying to do it. He just,
Yeah. It's all about, you got to be able to repeat it. And once you can repeat it, yeah, like you said, it's muscle memory. Same thing. Gatlin's been running sub 10 for what, 50 years now. It feels
yeah,
like.
man,
So,
man, he won an Olympics when I was in the 4th grade.
yeah, there are people that were lining up at the trials that were younger than, like, I don't even think like a thing Mo. There were some people that were at the trials weren't even alive yet when he was first lining
Yeah,
up.
but think about that.
As
Like
a
I
pro.
graduated this year is my high school 10-year reunion, and he won Olympics when I was in the 4th grade.
Mm-hmm. And still running to this day.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
There you go. Well, Marvin, thank you so much for taking the time here. I'm sure we could go on for another hour. We've already gone a little bit over, but thank you so much for taking the time. Where can people go if they wanted to, learn a little bit more about you on social media or anything like that?
Man, listen, man. I definitely appreciate you, allowing me to shed light on certain situations, because I know people don't really ask these questions. We don't really have media outlets like that allow us to, blow off some steam or talk about, things that we've been through. So I'm open to chat at any given time during the season. After a couple of races or whatever, man, we can always come back and go over some more things, and I can, put you into my mind and where I'm at. If anybody ever wants to, follow me, follow my story, follow my journey, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Marvin Bracy, or at Brace Yourself, or just type in my name, Marvin Bracy Williams. Speaking of that, people don't know that my last name is not Bracy anymore. It's actually Bracy Williams.
No, I
I
didn't.
actually, yeah. So I legally changed my name in 2018. I have my dad's first and middle name, and I had my mama's last name. They were never married. And so my dad died 18 years ago. That 18 years ago when I was 10. And when I found out I was having a son, I legally changed my name. And I was going to switch it just to Williams, but I already made my name as Marvin Bracy. So I was like, you know what? I want to honor my mama and my father. So I changed to Bracy Williams and made myself the junior so that my son could be Marvin the third, which that's his name.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, just that's why sometimes that track meets people call me Bracy Williams, and oftentimes like people put just Bracy on the bib, and I got to give it back. Like, no, that ain't my name. So I got the paperwork right here, to show like and it's just to honor my father, man. And, he's, like I said, been there 18 years, so just something small. Like, hey, if people call me Bracy, like, I'm not offended, but it's, legally my name is Bracy Williams.
Oh, good. Well, I know what to put in the card now. Yeah, Bracy Williams. Yeah, and I know
Yes,
what you
sir.
mean. Yeah, when in 2003, I lost my cousin tragically to violence, and so I know it was my best friend. So I know exactly. So that's why my favorite number is 28, because he rocked 28 on basketball
Right.
and all that. And so it's like, yeah, there's things that are. It's like, no, it's a little bigger than than me. I know it. So yeah, I know what you mean there for sure. But
So it's like I said, just something small. So I mean, if somebody calls me Williams, some people can just call me Williams, which it's kind of cool to me. But it is what it is. It's just something that I should know. I ain't gonna go, and spaz out on people. But that's just something that, a little small, little intricacy. But again, people only look into certain things. Like, it's all of my social media, it's all over everything. Like, it's even on some of my biz, but nobody's really thought to ask me, like, why does it say, Bracy Williams? No, nobody's asked, so I just don't say nothing. Just, it is what it is.
yeah, there you go. Well, now people know. So now next time, Marvin Bracy Williams. So hopefully they'll be saying
Yes,
it the
sir.
right way on in Milrose this
But
upcoming.
they gonna have no choice.
Exactly. Well, Marvin, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone for listening. This has been another episode of Track World News. If you want more content, go and follow us on Instagram at Track World News. We post different clips, highlights, things like that. Well, that's going to be it for us today. Have a good one. Peace.